Okay, so today's video is going to be a little bit shorter. I had this diorama set up from yesterday with the Toy Story Lightyear pictures, and I decided that I wanted to do a picture with this diorama with this NECA Friday the 13th Jason character. I plan on putting him inside these trees here, and then what I'm going to use is my Godox VL150 and on it I have what is it called? I'll put the name of what it's called, but it's a spotlight attachment. Kind of show you what it does, or the objective that I'm trying to achieve. Go ahead and turn it on so you can see. Turn the light off. So hopefully you guys can see that, but here, let me just move the camera so you can definitely see what I'm doing. With the spotlight attachment, you can see there these kind of holes and star shapes. I don't really like that per se, but I do like the shafts of light that you can just see hitting the tree there. So I can actually adjust the focus, how hard these shapes are. I can make them basically non-existent to, pretty soft to very hard. And because I'm not going to be shooting the ground, I think that I want them pretty hard. It's gonna, my goal is to make it look like moonlight shining through the forest. So I'll kind of update you as we go along. Now, one of the first things I'm going to do is going to spray this with just this mister that I got off Amazon. I think it's really important to use a very fine mist of water and not kind of like your regular spray bottle, because the droplets are going to be too big. And for these smaller scale dioramas, I think it just makes a more realistic wet ground, tree, moss kind of rain effect. So I think this adds a good amount of realism to your shots. Plus, for a spooky kind of scary scene, they're kind of a lot of times at nighttime in the dark and rain's going on, so that just adds a bit of moodiness and depth and interest to your shot. Found that this stuff kind of dries up pretty fast, so I'm being pretty liberal with this. For this shot, I'm going to be using the Sony A1 camera with the 90mm macro lens. I think that having 90mm really helps you to get in there, add some compression so you can have some depth in your shot. But also, if you wanted to get some closer detailed shots, the minimum focus distance is pretty close, so you can really get in there and get close. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start considering placement of this guy. So you can kind of see in this image here, we need to think about where he could realistically be placed and look like he fit in the area. So if you look at the scale of this guy and the diorama, he's actually pretty big. So we're just going to want to consider that when composing our shot here. Simply for convenience, I'm going to mount my Atomos Ninja V Plus, I think it is, to my camera here. I want to mount it backwards so that when I'm setting up the character, I can see what I'm doing. Unfortunately, Sony's flagship camera, they decided that it didn't need to have a swivel screen, so they went back. The A7S III, I think the A7 IV has a nice screen that flips out, but man, I love Sony products, but they sure dropped the ball on this. Anyway, so I'm going to be able to see what I'm doing from the front, what my camera sees, and where I should set up the figure. Alright, so here's something I'm noticing with my scene. I am getting some hard light and it's directional and such, but it's very dark, and I think we need to work on some fill light. So this is what the scene is looking like as a whole here. We can make some adjustments in camera to, let's say to adjust the aperture, the ISO. We'll just put it on auto to just see what it picks up. And you know, we're still getting like very dark shadows, and we probably want to get those filled in a bit. All right, so what I decided to try to fill in the shadows is this Aperture MC4, or the Aperture MC. It's a 4-light kit. I'm going to put this little rubber silicone thing on the front of it for some diffusion. If you don't know, the smaller a light source is, the harsher or harder the light is going to be. So this is going to help make it a little less harsh, but it's going to be a pretty small light source. So my worry is that it's going to be a little bit too hard for what I want, and I might have to get a bigger light to kind of fill in this scene. But we're going to start out with this, and we'll see where we go. So right now I have a little bit of orange coming into the scene. I don't know if I want to make it that orange, but it is nice to give a little bit of color contrast to make your images pop out a little bit better as well. The next thing I want to do is I want to take my magical smoke genie and kind of see if I'm getting the effect that I'm looking for. I really want this light to be kind of like a shaft of moonlight coming in and really kind of spotlighting the figure. And I'm hoping that this fog will kind of show through. So let's give it a little test. See what we're looking at. And you can see, even if you walk away or move your hand away, the fog really kind of comes with you. But I think this is creating a super cool effect, and right now it kind of seems exactly like I want. So I'm going to practice a couple shots here and see what we're getting. Okay, so this is the updated setup. My Godox VL150 is actually only 5600 balance. So I decided to go with a blue light, a more blue light, to kind of contrast with that instead of an orange light. So this is kind of the scene that we're getting. This is how I have them set up. This is sort of the framing I have. Probably doesn't show up too well, but we're gonna start doing a little bit of fog and then take a few shots. We'll see what we get. Okay, I wanted to show you the final setup. This is for the video. I got it on the SERP slider. I have it programmed to slide to the side while panning from one way. It's going to curve and kind of stay on the NECA figure until the end of the slide. Have it programmed at 60 frames, and so I'm going to slow that down a little bit. It'll help to be able to extend the timeout if the focus doesn't quite become perfect or whatever. But I'm using the Smoke Genie, kind of falls down, so I start up high, let it kind of sift down into the scene, and there's my smoke alarm.
Look what they did to you, Jason. Kill them. They can't hide. There's no place to hide. Find them. Yes. Yes. Kill for Mother. That's my Jason. That's my special, special boy.
Okay everyone, I hope you liked that video. That was a lot of extra work. It's much harder to record behind the scenes videos to show you kind of what goes on than just taking the regular picture. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you appreciate it. I hope you learned something. If there's anything that you'd like to see me do in the future, please let me know in the comments. I'd love it if you liked and subscribed and shared. I have a pretty small following on YouTube, and I did put a lot of work into this, so I would like to grow my following and kind of share some of the knowledge that I've learned over the years. If you have any questions or anything like that, please let me know, but we'll see you next time.